Around 2 or 3 days ago, Ironheart 2 came out, and I haven't watched it yet, and I do plan on watching it after I make this video just to see how right or wrong I was about this. I'm making this video to tell you what I want Ironheart to be. Personally, I would have liked if we got Iron Lad instead of Ironheart with that kid with the potato cannon, but it is what it is. We got what we got. Based off what I've seen of Ironheart and BP2, I feel like they're gonna make her like an Iron Man kinda type character, like very egotistical and confident in her own ability. One of the things that I'm really concerned about is her being a copy instead of similar, right? I want to be able to draw parallels and similarities between the characters while still looking at their differences and their different ways of handling different situations. Basically, if I look at two scenarios, I don't want Ironheart to deal with it in the same way that Iron Man would deal with it. I think that this parallel and contrasting of these two characters can lead to some really good plot lines. For example, they both have an ego, but Tony's ego is more justified than hers is. Tony was born with a silver spoon, but that doesn't make him undeserving of everything he has. If Tony wasn't born rich, then he probably would have became rich anyway. Tony didn't even use any of his connections or capital to build his first Iron Man suit. He built it in a cave with a box of scraps. Tony throughout all three of his movies isn't just showing his ego, but he's justifying it. Tony doesn't just have a big head, he has the body to match. And that right there is the difference between arrogance and confidence, saying something crazy and then being able to back it up. And I'm saying all this because I want Ironheart to be arrogant, to be an unlikable character that evolves and grows as a person as the series goes on, to be someone that overestimates her own intelligence and believes that she's always the smartest person in the room even when she's not. And it will be cool to see them getting the motivations to build their suits in the first place from different sources. For Tony, his suit was like a message of rebirth, like a physical embodiment of him trying to change. But for Ironheart, I want it to be kind of like her proving her genius, little more than her attempting to feed her own ego to prove that she's better than everyone else around her. And what better way to do that than to copy the greatest mind ever and do what only he was capable of doing. When the US government tried to do what Iron Man did, they ended up with fucking War Machine and his shitty hammer tech. They could draw a parallel about how they both had to prove themselves. Ironheart had to prove her genius, while Tony had to prove that he could be a good person. But what I really want from this series is for Ironheart to learn from her mistakes, for her to grow as a person throughout the series. When she does finally get her suit, I want her to realize that she's not on the level that she thought she was, right? She had to resort to stealing to get her suit when Tony built his with a box of scraps. I want her to realize that she just isn't on the level of genius that Tony was, at least not yet. And then she has to, you know, resort to getting help to defeat the villain, resorting to getting help from somebody with magic. And it'll also be another good way of separating the two, because while she's a magic tech hybrid, Tony was just purely technology. Also providing her own move set instead of just copying the classic repulsors and nano machines that Tony had. I want her to still be confident but not arrogant, believing that she's smart but not thinking she's the smartest to ever live. And I do believe that this could work. When it comes to introducing a new character in a lineup of legacies, you end up with a lot of OG fans that will not accept that new character no matter what. And if you watch Clone Wars, you know exactly who I'm finna bring up. The writers purposefully made Ahsoka very unlikable and unenjoyable to watch because they knew that the fans would bash her no matter what. But with good writing and a good character arc, they made Ahsoka one of the most liked characters in the show. And unfortunately, I now have to stop being delusional, because chances are they're not pulling an Ahsoka. Because the thing is, Ahsoka was meant to be unlikable, meant to be someone you didn't want to root for, and then she developed into someone that you do want to root for. But recently, Disney has been dragging women through the fucking mud when it comes to writing, because they make women that are so unlikable, and then they're supposed to be likable. And then usually they follow the strong, independent woman, where you just have a woman who is bigger, better. And usually she's like just kind of a dick to everyone around her. You know what I mean? Like emotional vulnerability. Nah, strong women can't have that. But outside of that, Director X apparently had some part in this, which immediately made me wary of this series. If you don't know Director X, he's the guy that made that Robin Hood series, you know, but with a Y instead of a I. Oh my god, Director X is a cinematic genius. But if you haven't watched this apparent masterpiece, it's basically a show about a bunch of black people stealing and then rapping about it to taunt the police. And not on some like steal from the rich and give to the poor. No, it's steal from the rich and give to myself.
We don't do the flashy gutter how we live. My hood versus your hood, come and see just how we live.
Just killing it, Robin.
Like and sub, you're 4 minutes in the video, bro. Come on.
Damn straight, I
get so high, never laying straight. Hop out the back of the lane straight. Our culture that promotes killers and killing. A culture that I help promote.
Yo, you know what part of the culture you should promote for real? Stealing. Black people stealing shit. That's gonna help the culture so much, gang. But wait. There's more. You get that reference? Hopefully I can edit in that reference. There's apparently a drag queen hacker that used to work with Robin Hood in this movie. So Robin Hood is now part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're so fucking cooked, bro. Hey, bro, run a DC, bro. Run this shit back. Because this shit right here, nah, bro. This is not the move, gangy. We need to like rethink our strategy a little bit. Because what the fuck? He says that he wants to help improve the culture, but then he makes shit stuff like Robin Hood, which does nothing but harm the culture. You literally said, oh yes, black people steal from rich people, and that's completely moral and okay. This series can easily have an underlying message of the effects of selfishness and ego, two problems the black community suffers with a lot. Like, let's be serious. Niggas are on Instagram live telling their ops to come and kill them, posting their location. Like, my nigga, you're gonna die. And you have the same niggas selling drugs to people, benefiting off other people's lives getting worse. And I can't even really judge those niggas. Like, I hang out with these niggas. Like, these niggas are my best friends. Like, I can't even talk shit like I'm not one.